but they're also going to be very rewarding to you as well. So you got to learn how people think, what makes them tick. Why do some people talk a lot? Why do some are scared and they don't want to talk? Or why do some want to know every single detail and some could care less? You know, God made us all uniquely and wonderfully different. And so back in the days of Socrates, or Hippocrates and all them T's guys, those peoples, they, I think it was Hippocrates, he came out with 4 basic temperaments that people have. And there's tests out there, and we like to do the colors: red, green, blue, and yellow. And so if you haven't taken the test, you need to make sure and take the test. You can actually go to Mark Arcetta, MarcArcetta.com, marcarcetta.com, MarcArcetta.com. Okay? Go there, take the test. And you're going to figure out that you are predominantly one color with a secondary in a second color and maybe a little bit in the third or the fourth color. But each color has strengths and each one has weaknesses. And the idea is not to point fingers and say, you know, oh, that's a bad person because that color has these bad traits and blah, blah, blah. I don't want you doing that. I want you to recognize for yourself first, what are the strengths of that color? And what are the weaknesses of that color? And the goal is to work to build up to become the strengths of that color and to try to help get rid of the weaknesses that are of that color. So I'm just going to kind of give you some basics of the colors. So let's talk about red. All right, red personalities are very strong, driven, money motivated, very opinionated, very natural born type leaders. They have, they make decisions very quickly. They're very decisive. They are going to get the job done. But some of the weaknesses of a red are they're bossy. They're not very complimentary. They're very impatient. They are very critical of people. They are, they could just run over you. You know, they think they're perfect and they have very little patience. They're very impatient and they don't like imperfection. So reds can easily just wound somebody. If they get mad, they get over it pretty quick. They'll blow up, but then they're over it, they're done with it, they've said what they wanted to say, and they don't have a filter. They pretty much will tell you what they're thinking, whether it hurts you or not, but they don't do it to hurt you. They're just telling you the truth. So the reds, I mean, you want reds in your business. You really do. But you want reds that are highly functioning reds and not dysfunctional reds. And most of the time, the reds are usually got a pretty good amount of dysfunction going on in their personality. You know, they are the bossy type, always telling people what to do, where to go, you know. So reds are very money motivated. When you're talking to a red and you're blitzing them, they're going to see the money. They don't want to hear about the fun. They don't want to hear about the details. They just want to know how much money they're going to make. And they could do it without even trying the product. I mean, a lot of them won't even try the product. If there's money to be made, they're in. And that's what motivates them. That's what drives them. So if you're talking to a red about going to a conference, you're going to tell them the leaders will be there. They're going to want to be where the leaders are because they consider themselves a leader. And they are. They're very, very good at leading. And so, but they got to learn the differences between where they're really highly functioning and where they're dysfunctional. So that's the reds. How many of you think you're a red? Okay. All right. All right. So then there's the blues. All right. The blues are the fun. We're going to have so much fun. Oh my gosh. Party. Woo! Blues are very social. They're very outgoing. They're very bubbly. They're very talkative. They're very spontaneous. You know, you can call a blue up and say, hey, we're going to Vegas. You want to go? Woo-hoo, let's go. They don't plan. They don't have to tell anybody. They're just going to do it. You know, the downside of a blue is that they are late to everything. They're very forgetful. They repeat things many, many times. You know, if they're telling a story, they're going to tell you the whole story. And if you interrupt them, they're going to go back to the beginning and continue on, because it's important to the whole point of the story. The reds are bottom lines. Reds are saying, is there a point? Get to the point. What's the bottom line? The blues, they're just fun, loving, having a good time. They are all about recognition. They want to hear their name. You know, they want to know that you appreciate them. That you, if they've done anything, any little tiny little thing, they got their 2 customers, you better be woo-hooing and oh my gosh and way to go and woo-hoo, pat on the backs, and they'll work even harder. Blues will work so hard for recognition. So if you got blue in your group, the challenge with the blue is getting them focused, because they get distracted. Over here, what's that, squirrel? That's a blue. How do you think I know? Okay. So those are blues. How many blues do we have in the crowd? All right. If y'all were real blues, you'd be woohooing and carrying on. Yeah. The blues love a party. So when you're blitzing a blue, you're gonna recognize the blues. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Oh, does it really work? Oh my gosh, really? Party. I can have a party. Woohoo! Let's do it. All right. And you can hear a blue. They're loud. Blues usually have a loud laugh. They're usually, I mean, you could just pick a blue out. They're just fun. They're just a lot of fun. So that's the blues. The blue and the red, they're more of the extroverted type personalities. Now, the other 2, we got yellow. Yellows are very, they're very laid back. They're very shy most of the time. They talk very softly. Sometimes you just can't really hear them talking at all. I have a good friend of mine who's yellow, and I'm all the time saying, speak up, you know, talk to me. Or she's at a restaurant ordering, and she's ordering very, very quietly. And the server's going, excuse me? And I'm like, hey, speak up, you know, whatever. They're very easygoing. They're very loyal. They are very nurturing. They don't like to rock a boat. They don't like confrontation. They are, they like just kind of being in the background. They don't like being center stage. They are the type that want to help. You know, the yellows are going to be the first ones to volunteer. They're going to be the ones that, you know, do you need anything done? You know, Cindy Pentecost, our CEO's wife, is yellow, but she's really red, but she has learned to be more yellow. She used to be very red, is what she's told us, and it's hard to believe when you meet her and you see her. She's very gentle speaking. She's a servant. So yellows are more of a servant type leader. And so you would see Cindy in the early days picking up after all of us, you know, going behind us and picking up and cleaning up and doing things, you know. So that's the yellow. But the yellow, it's very hard for them because they're very reserved. You know, they're not that outgoing, crazy person. You know, they're more reserved, and they'd rather be, I don't know, just kind of blend into that wall back there. They don't want to stand out. You're not going to see a yellow wearing green hair. You know, a yellow just doesn't want to call attention to themselves. And also, how many of you think you're yellow? Susie, you're not yellow. Come on. Okay, we got some yellows in here. Okay. And I mean, you got to understand, it takes all colors to have an amazing business. And I mean, every color has positive strengths. Okay? Then there's the greens. All right, greens. Greens are very detail-oriented. They're very, very structured, very ordered. They're very organized. They're very analytical. They're very cautious. You cannot expect a green to jump in the car and go to Vegas. A green's going to say, I need to look at my calendar. All right, I'm scheduled all the way through to next week. There's no way I could do it. No, I can't do it. They're very, very structured. They're very organized. If you go into a greens closet, you're going to see all the jeans in one area. All their clothes are color coordinated. Their drawers are very neat and orderly. If you walk into a blues closet, it looks like a volcano erupted in there. They can't find anything. They're good about piles. Blues have piles everywhere. But don't mess with the blues piles, really. Because even though I got piles all in my office, I know where things are. Most of the time. But the greens, they're so organized. And they're very time conscious. I mean, you know, greens are on time. They follow the rules. They know every single policy and procedure. They've read it all. And you got to have some greens in your group to help keep you from being out of compliance. The greens are going to go, that's not compliance. It's against policy number 2.8.3, whatever. You know, they know all the rules and regulations. They don't break rules. They're a little bit on the reserved side too. You know, with the green, they either have high highs or low lows. They hardly ever have a in between. They're either really up or they're really down. And a lot of times they're just kind of down. They just have a melancholy sort of personality. So, how many of you think you're green? Detailed, organized. I'm going to tell you one of the best leader type combinations is a red-green. Someone who is strong, driven, but yet organized, orderly. You know, if you're dealing with the greens and you're going to get them to go to conference, then you're going to tell them they're going to get all the details there. All the details. The reds, you tell them the leaders are there. The blues, you're going to tell them we're going to have so much fun. And the yellows, you're just going to say, hey, we'll just get your ticket for you. Don't worry about it. We'll just get you there. You know, the yellows. It's so true. Oh, my gosh. You know, the yellows will judge things based on whether or not it's too much trouble. So you got to make it easy for a yellow. Make it easy for them. They don't want to tell you no anyway. They'll do it. But the easier you make it for them, the better it is for them. So it's a lot of fun. You guys do the test. And then what's fun is then take the test. So like if you're married, take the test for your spouse. And the way you see their spouse, you know, the way you see them. Because they're not going to be as truthful about themselves when they're taking the test as you will, you know. So do that. That's kind of fun. And have them take the test for you, based on you, you know, and see what comes up. I'll never forget when I first learned about the personalities. I'm a blue-yellow. Blair was a red-green. And in those days, he was really red. Back when we were young and he was in construction, a lot of stress. And he had to be red. Today, he's about as yellow as they come. I mean, he has flip-flopped. He is so easygoing. You know, a lot happens when stress is not in your life anymore. You kind of change a little bit. But anyhow, so Blues are like I said, they want to hear their name. They want to be recognized. They like compliments and all. So I would knock myself out getting ready. We're going to go on a date or whatever, and I'd have a new outfit, and the whole time I'd be getting my makeup on and I'd be going, oh my gosh, he's going to think I look so good tonight, and he's going to say how awesome I look, and woohoo, finally, because he never hardly ever told me that. And so I would get ready and come out, and he'd be looking at his watch going, well, it's about time. Are you ready? And I would just be crushed, and I'd be going, you know, do I look okay? Yeah, you look fine. Come on, let's go. We're always late. Let's go, you know. And so I would just be crushed. Well, we got into, like I said, our first networking business. This was 25 years ago, and we learned about the personalities. So as I'm reading about the personalities, I saw that the Blues thrive on compliments. And so I took the book to Blair and said, look, right here. They thrive on compliments. I love compliments. You never compliment me. Why don't you ever compliment me? It would just make things so much easier on us if you would compliment me sometimes. They thrive on compliments. And he flipped it over to the Reds and he goes, look here, does not give compliments. Right there. And I was like, oh my gosh. I had an aha moment. I thought he wasn't doing that just because he didn't love me. It was just not in his nature to do it. So once he learned, he was more, you know, easily to compliment me because he realized I needed that. And then if he didn't, then I didn't take it so personal because then I realized it's just not in his nature. Okay, so I'm not going to take it personal. So that's what happens when you learn about the personalities. You'll learn about your kids. You'll realize maybe you're a red, strong, driven personality parent, and you've got a child that's yellow. And you're trying to make that child become competitive and to go out there and be the biggest baseball player ever, and they just want to read a book, right? So it's very important that you learn the personalities. It will change your life. You will start to not take things personal when people are doing things that irritate you or hurt you, especially if you're yellow and a red snaps at you and you're yellow, you go to the corner crying, the red can't figure out why in the world you're so upset. What the heck did I do? I didn't do anything wrong, you know, and the yellow just hangs on to it forever. You hurt my feelings, you know. So get the personality test, do it, read it, and change your life with that, okay? Any questions on that? Mark Arcetta, M-A-R-C-A-C-E, A-R-C. A-C-C. E-T-T-A. Okay. MARCACCETTA.com. Mark Arcetta. Arcetta. No R.
No R.
Okay. Got it? You guys got it? Okay. All right, real quick. So I'm going to finish up. I just want to talk to you guys just a little bit about treating this as a business.